This video has nothing to do with video games, but it's my channel. And if I care to rant and rave about how much writing sucks, I'm going to do it. You're free to skip this one if you feel it's not interesting to you. It is marked as off topic for a reason. So this morning, I woke up to learn that I had been added to the mailing list for a website called Narratively. Now, if you're not familiar with Narratively, they publish personal writing. I had pitched some of my more personal writing, some of my more sensitive writing to them a few years back. There was a period where I thought maybe I should give that kind of thing a shot. It didn't last very long. And they rejected it all, and I moved on. And I kind of forgot about them until all of a sudden they decided to pop into my inbox. Now, this by itself is not necessarily shocking. If you've been out there writing or even just using the internet for a while, your email address is out there. It's on different mailing lists. I get added to people's newsletters all the time. Not that long ago, I got added to a couple of mailing lists from people I used to write for on Medium, where it was one of these things. The very first post was a guy complaining about his revenue from Medium and insisting that he deserved a $1,000 CPM, which was a delight. Under normal circumstances, this kind of thing would not be worthy of remark, except not only is it not the first time it's happened, being added to a mailing list by someone who shot me down in the past, it's not even the first time it's happened this week. Just a few days ago, I was added to the Substack of somebody who was previously a publisher, I guess. I had to go digging through a bunch of old submission portals to even find where I'd ever talked to these people, but apparently I did send them something years ago, and this guy added me to his Substack, which was great because his opening post was complaining about the writers he had to read, which was a wonderful thing to see given my background with them. And of course, I made sure to leave a comment for him explaining just how much tact and taste he had to contact me without my permission to tell me something like this. So when Narratively did it, I may not have been in the best of moods, but my mood got worse once I looked into this thing. I have to read you just a little bit of this letter I got, inviting me as the first to check out their bold new writing community. Dear storyteller, you're receiving this because you're a part of our extended creative family. We know that you, our global community of writers and storytellers, are our lifeblood. Our new community is a space to develop all the tools you need to pursue your storytelling dreams. They're selling courses. I'm sure you figured that out halfway into that. They're selling courses naturally, and well, they're wondering if I wouldn't be willing to, give them some money. Needless to say, I do not plan on giving them any money. In the first place, because I never would. I was doing these things online, these writing workshops or masterminds or whatever you want to call them, is pointless. The only reason you do these things in real life has nothing to do with developing the craft. They're paid networking opportunities. You go to these events in real life, pay hundreds of dollars to get in, so that maybe you can meet some agents, and one of them might remember you later, and they'll kind of grease the skids for you, and it gets your foot in the door and helps you clear that first gate. That's the reason you do these things in real life. Online, you don't have that networking element, so I don't know what you're really getting out of this. But also, the balls on these people. I mean, part of our extended creative family. No, I'm not part of your community. I wanted to be part of your community, and you decide I wasn't good enough. But now I guess that, I have the opportunity to give you money that's changed, which is very, very tasteful thing to do, that kind of thing. Now, what we are looking at here is an example of what's known as the sales funnel, a concept some of you may be familiar with. The idea of it is if you're trying to sell someone on a product or service, one of the ways to do it is to get them to make a series of ever larger commitments. So usually they start by having you make some kind of non-monetary commitment. So they might, in this case, want you to sign up for a mailing list. They might have you watch a long video or a live presentation was how they used to do these things. They're kind of moving away from that. Now, after that, you haven't put any money in yet, but because you've committed time, it's then easier for them to move you to the next step where they want you to give them just a small amount of money. So they might have you purchase something small, like a subscription, like an ebook or something else that's not a lot of money, but now you've put a little bit of money in. then the sunk cost fallacy starts up, and then they can get you to buy progressively more and more expensive things. And this is very common. It's what all the course sellers do this to some extent. It has kind of a long history. What is important and what's interesting about what Narratively is doing here is they found a way to kind of short circuit the process a little bit, because normally all of these steps as you're moving deeper and deeper into the funnel are all voluntary. I mean, there's a lot of trickery involved, there's a lot of psychology involved, but it is still you as the person on the consumption side. You are still making the choice to enter the funnel and to move deeper into it. But in this case, they've skipped that first step. They put me into the first phase of the funnel without me making a decision. See, they didn't bother with the usual process of client acquisition. No, they just decided, yeah, you want to be on my email list, on my Substack, which naturally, once you look at it, is pretty much all just sales copy for them to convert you into a paid subscriber and then to start selling you out on the courses. I suspect that they are aware that many writers who've been repeatedly rejected by them may not really care for this approach, because I noticed that you have to be a paid member to leave comments on any of their posts, which is wonderful when you see that kind of opacity. But right around the time they decided to add me to this thing, they opened up a chat, and the chat was not similarly secured. So I went ahead and gave them a few words telling them how much I appreciated the amount of tact and, respect in general that they offered me, and then sent them an email detailing in, let's say, somewhat more colorful language and at much greater length how I felt about this whole process and how they need to lose my email address. Which leads me to the point of all this. Back in the day, when I was younger, I was ironically more paranoid but less cynical than I am now. And back then, I had a ton of alt and dummy email accounts. And I would use those. I used them for a couple different things, but one of the things I did with these is if I saw some kind of online kind of like mailing list type of thing that was vaguely interesting, but I suspected that these people were going to spam me and or sell my information, then I would give them one of the fake accounts. And most of the time, I was clearly doing the right thing, because every so often I would go back and check one of those alt accounts and they would be full of crap. There are a lot of really low rent scams targeting writers in particular. I won't even get into them all now, because most of them, they're old, they're not that interesting, they're penny ante compared to some of the shit that's going down these days. But it was just clogging up my inbox on every account where I did this. But I never did it when I was contacting agents. I never did it when I was contacting short fiction markets or other writing markets, because why would I? Aside from the fact that the practical reasons, I need to know immediately when those people respond to me. So it doesn't really help it for me to give them an email account I maybe only check once a month. But aside from that, and this is maybe the part of that's a little bit naive, I kind of trusted that they wouldn't do shit like this. Now I have to wonder, are they all going to do shit like this? I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, and I suppose I'm not. We are into an era of grift. We are into an era where nobody seems like they know how to make money doing anything productive anymore. And it seems like some of these people no longer know how to make money at publishing. So now they're trying to, since they can't get money from writing, they're trying to get money from writers. Desperate, unaware writers who don't know how the system works, but they're hoping if they put enough money in, if they keep pulling that lever, eventually they'll hit all sevens. But how many times is this going to happen? I did a little back of the envelope math today. Just to start with, I looked up all of the short fiction markets I've contacted, and according to the online tool I use to track this, 266 of them over the years. And then I took all of the markets I sent my writing to, so short fiction, personal essays, video game writing, travel writing, all of the literary agencies and agents, all of the publishers. We'll go ahead and throw in the different Medium publications I've written for over the years, because again, some of those people have already added me to their shitty mailing lists. And I figure I have given my primary email address to somewhere between 700 and 750 people within publishing. And I have to wonder, is this going to keep happening? I mean, is this going to be one of these things where now once a week I'm going to have to swat down people trying to upsell me on some product? I guess that's just where we are. Anyway, rant over. See you later. When we come back, we'll have some reviews or something.